Taurus, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation. In this video, we're going to review the major planetary aspects and transits that are and how they're going to impact your natal sun this week and what that means for your bottom line. I'm going to start out really broad with the big stuff, with the general charts for this week, and then I'm going to focus that down into Taurus specific energy, and then I will break down everything into 3 decans or groups of 10 degrees of Taurus, the zodiac sign, so that I can pinpoint exactly which aspects are forming to your natal suns based on your birth dates and what that means for your week. So let's start out really broad, shall we, Taurus? Yeah, I have it all written down. There is a lot of big stuff happening. In fact, today we have this beautiful new moon that's happening. If you're in the States, it's going to happen in the evening between 6 and 9:30 p.m., depending on where you are, California to New York, continental states. If you're, I think, Western Europe, it's going to be early in the morning. Now, new moons don't tend to be so much to see, but there is beautiful energy surrounding them. So let's get into this. So first of all, this is a new moon in Virgo. It's going to happen at 21 degrees Virgo. And it is in special positioning to a lot of other big contributors. It is in opposition to Neptune. But it is also in a grand Earth trine with Pluto and Uranus that have been trine to each other for quite some time, and they will continue to be. So we have this beautiful new moon that is trine to Pluto and Uranus in a completion of a grand trine, which the sun will remain in all week long. It's a grand Earth trine. Now, Earth is the hardest element to move, but any kind of trine makes the energy kind of loosen up a bit. It's gentler. It eases it up. And then we have that opposition to Neptune, which can cause delusion and distraction and self-delusion. So my question is this: how have you been fooling yourself on your limitations and what your limitations are? Have you not been acknowledging limitations, or have you been acknowledging too many limitations when in fact they don't really exist and they're not really there? This easement in this beautiful grand trine is going to help give you some space and leeway to plant the most beautiful seeds on this new moon. It's in Virgo, for Christ's sake. Virgo's the harvest. This is time to plant the most beautiful beginning in the most fertile soil that we are going to see all year. Now, this doesn't mean you skyrocket or rush into things. We're just starting to see planets come out of retrograde. Venus, like a week or so ago, and then Mercury is this week. Mercury goes direct this week on the 15th. But it stays stationary in Virgo at 8 degrees for the whole week. So even Venus, it's going to move about 3 degrees this week. But that's not its normal momentum. Like, she's still picking up speed. Mercury is just going to start to go direct. So he'll start picking up some speed next week. And then, of course, we're going to have Saturn and Pluto over the next couple of months also going direct again. But ultimately, it's not a gung-ho energy. It's not a rush into it energy. But it is a take the first step out that door kind of energy. This is Virgo energy is not about winning the race fast. It is about winning the race tenaciously, about one step at a time and long-term commitment. So whatever seeds you plant and nurture over the next year are going to yield absolutely game-changing results, especially for who you are, how you see yourself, and how you are seen. Let's go on to other energies that are impacting us this week. We have Mercury in opposition to Saturn. Like I said, Mercury goes direct on the 15th, the day after this new moon, so tomorrow, if you guys are watching this when I upload the videos. And then by the 17th, Mercury's opposition to Saturn will wane, and it won't be a strong opposition anymore. But until the 17th, Mercury opposition to Saturn implies hold your tongue, or the suppressed tongue. Now, maybe because you need to think about it a little bit more, or because Mercury retrograde was clouding, you weren't getting the information in, right? You could feel restricted. You can feel held back but ultimately by the end of the week, there'll be a little bit of a release there. So that's good. We also have beautiful Venus really, really shining this week. She is square to Jupiter, so that's very decadent and indulgent energy, and sometimes it can be overindulgent energy, but with the other conjunctions that she's experiencing, well, the other aspects she's experiencing, I think it's actually very positive. It is very optimistic and very pleasurable energy. She's also sextile to Mars, which is super pleasurable, very sexual. This could be a really sexy week for some people. But she's also trying to Chiron, which is a very stabilizing energy and a healing energy. This is a sense of Venus is starting to make changes in her value systems because she's grown the fuck up and she doesn't value things the same way because of the shit she's been through. So whatever pleasures she's gleaning this week, I think she deserves it. And honestly, I see a healing energy and a happiness about this new set of standards. We have the Sun in opposition to Neptune all week long, which we talked about, but Mars is also in opposition to Chiron, which I think is pretty significant since Mars by the end of the week will also form a minor aspect, a sesquiquadrate quadrate to Saturn. And any kind of contentious aspect between Mars and Saturn, we're going to feel a friction, a spark, a rub, because they're mean when they combat each other. They're malefic energies. Saturn is also semi-square to Chiron with Mars in opposition to Chiron. This could just feel like we've been really restricted, and it could give an air of really being down on ourselves, really being like giving up or being hopeless or feeling like there's going to be no mobility forward. There is. It's actually just put there to slow us down, because while we're coming out of retrograde season, we shouldn't be rushing. So don't let it discourage you so much as just remind you, slow down. It's not about rocket fuel right now. It's not. Okay, let's get into Taurus specific energy, shall we? We touch upon two things when we analyze Taurus specific energy. A, what's going on in the zodiac sign of Taurus, and then where your natal suns are, and then what's going on with your ruling dignitary, who is kind of that piece of Taurus that travels everywhere and kind of flavors or seasons different experiences in your life. So we're going to talk about Taurus first. Taurus has Jupiter at 15 degrees all week long and Uranus at 22 degrees all week long. They are both in retrograde. They're both really slowing down. They're not retrograding that fast. Jupiter actually won't come out of retrograde, I think, till December. Uranus won't come out of retrograde until January. So we're going to retrograde back. So they're going to be in Taurus for quite some time, I think is basically what I'm saying. Because Jupiter moves much faster than Uranus. So they're going to be with Taurus for quite some time. I don't think Uranus exits Taurus until 2026. So get used to it, especially Taurus 3s. If you're born at the end of Taurus, you've got Uranus conjunct your natal sun for a while. There's going to be major changes in you because your individualism is going to fly off the roof. So what's going on with Venus? Well, Venus is in Leo, and she's moving between 14 and 17 degrees this week. Last week it was just 2 degrees, so this week it's 3, which means she is picking up back to her normal speed. This is good. She is square to Jupiter, sextile to Mars, and trine to Chiron, which we reviewed in the big stuff, because with all that energy aspecting one planet, it is big energy, and that kind of positivity and optimism for the future, changes for the future, changes through learning the hard way. This is really beautiful energy, maturing energy, but also loving life, really being grateful and being motivated and very much feeling virile and ready to love again. So it can be also a time of healing your banking account, and a time of easing into or being more open to romantic relationships. So Taurus 1. If you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Taurus, you are Taurus 1s. This correlates to Taurus birthdays between April 22nd and the 31st. Am I getting that right? Yeah. April 22nd to May 1st. Because I think April only has 30 days, I think. No. Yeah, because May has 31, June has 30, July has 31. Yeah, I got to catch up. Okay. So it's an estimate, but it is between, say, April 22nd to May 1st. Those would be in and around the birth date ranges on average. Now, of course, if you know that your natal sun, you were born on the 21st of April, and you know it's in Taurus, I believe you guys would fit into this group as well. Absolutely. So your natal suns are trine to Mercury as it goes direct. So there is an easement when it comes to things becoming more manageable for you, more articulated, more feeling like they're a little bit in your realm of understanding. There is a gracefulness when it comes to how eloquent you speak or how you communicate. Mercury is still in retrograde. It's still in its shadow period. This isn't the greatest time to sign important paperwork, but I think you will have a patience when it comes to any kind of intellectual exchanges, education, learning. It's a great time for you to take in information and to start contemplating things, because it's a nice, helpful energy to have. You also have a long-term sextile to Saturn, so there can be some great communication opportunities that come through, especially when it comes to bosses, work opportunities. It's a really kind of assuming authority over your own life and looking for more opportunities that require that you take on leadership roles, taking yourself more seriously and having others take you more seriously over this whole year. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, but over the course of the year can really open up a lot of possibilities in your career. If you're born at the cusps, so this would be the Taurus Aries cusps, anyone born 21st, 22nd, 23rd of April, you are also square to Pluto, and you will continue to be square to Pluto for a while. So square to Pluto will make you very formidable, even where you don't want to be, and it can make you very extreme. The sense of black and white, it's this way or that, and impatient. You can feel it having that impact on you. You could get to the point where you cut people off way too much. It is a great energy for being relentless, but don't be ruthless, because people will remember you. With anything with the Sun, Pluto interacting, people will remember. You will make permanent impact on people. So make sure that it is, even though it may be formidable, it is also positive. Let's go on to Taurus 2s. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Taurus, you guys are Taurus 2s. This correlates to birthdays, estimate, between May 2nd and the 11th. So your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Jupiter. Now you think, oh my God, I'm going to be lucky. No. It makes you think you're lucky. It also makes you really big-headed. It's that kind of energy where you take one piano lesson and you wonder why I am not a maestro. You know, it's like you over-exaggerate everything that you do because you are the biggest star of your life. So if you're feeling a little bit big-headed, or the way to use this energy positively is to realize you love yourself, and that's good, and realize that you have an optimism about you right now, and that's fantastic. But don't think and don't rush this big head of yours or believe it, because believe me when I say this is one of the hardest aspects to discipline, and if well disciplined, it can go exceptionally far, but if left undisciplined, it will let you down every time. Just an FYI. We also have a that's long-term aspect. So you're going to be dealing with that for a while, just FYI. You also have a semi-square to Neptune. So you could feel yourself getting a little bit distracted, floating off into daydreams. The good way to use this energy is creatively. If you see yourself being distracted by something, say, why is it distracting me? You know, they say that where your daydreams take you is where you really want to be. So if you're not there and you don't have it, listen to it, admit it, understand it, and say, okay, well, how do I get it really? We also have a square to Venus, and that's for this week. That is a really energized, charged energy. There can be some contention when it comes to your romantic relationships, your desires, really frustrating you, especially since Venus is also sextile to Mars. There can be some real virile energy there, but it could cause conflict. Could also be some financial conflict that you have to deal with. This is a square So it's not there to just agitate you. It's there to force you to face something, learn from it, and then grow from it. So lean into this and learn from it. And I tell you, it's going to be a very valuable week for you. Let's move on to Taurus 3s. If you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Taurus, you guys are Taurus 3s. This correlates to birthdays between May 12th and the 22nd. So your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Uranus. You guys were the ones I was talking about with, holy crap, this is independence on crack. Like, I want to be me and who I am and everything that I'm capable. I don't want to be seen like everybody else. I don't want to. This is when you kind of get your I need to be unique kind of energy there, and this supercharge of embodying whatever it is that can make you unique. Of course, just like with Jupiter, you can overdo this conjunction and isolate yourself because you almost end up oppositional, in that you try so hard to be unique, you're not even thinking, am I happy? So the point and the good way to use this long-term conjunction, because it's going to be there for a while, is to let it lead you into curious places that open and expand your mind. This is a very brilliant energy, so thinking outside of the box is going to become second nature to you. It could open up a lot of opportunities for you, so definitely embrace that. But don't let it distract you to the point of opposition and just rebelling for the sake of rebelling, because what's the freaking point of that? The point of any conjunction is to help you grow and make you stronger, not to distract you and collapse upon you. So you got to watch it. Conjunctions can go either way. It just depends on how you use it. And since you're dealing with it for the next year or so, you got to learn how to use it well. You're also at ground zero for whatever change is going on or churning in the cosmos over the next decade, because you're trine to Pluto, you're sextile to Neptune, and this week you are trine to the sun and trine to the new moon. So when it comes to trine to Pluto and sextile to Neptune, this is an extraordinarily psychic energy. It's extraordinarily insightful energy. It's an extraordinarily metamorphic energy, like an easy way of change. People will follow you and believe you. And creativity will be second nature, especially spirituality and connection with your psychic abilities with Pluto and Neptune in there. So you won't be afraid of things that were maybe used to scare you. In fact, they'll actually start to come easy to you. You won't be uncomfortable with them at all. But this week, the trine to the sun between your sun and the current sun is going to offer you a lot of confidence and a lot of happiness. It's going to offer you a lot of success. So this is a very beautiful week for you. And that new moon today, you better plant your seed. You better manifest. I have a whole video on this. It's called Manifest with the Moon for Earth Moons. It gives you a lot of manifestation strategies. You guys especially should watch that video. I'll try to attach it above at the end of this video, because it is the energy is so exceptional for you. And anything you plant, because of this beautiful trine, it'll be extra beautiful and easy and decadently rich soil for you. So it's definitely time for you to start. It's definitely time for you to plant that new seed, guys. I love you so much, and I hope this video has helped. If you know anybody else who you think would enjoy this video, please share it with them. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up yourself. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and then come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week.